God is not who you think he is. The God worshipped by millions, the one who floods the earth, demands sacrifice, punishes curiosity, may not be the true creator at all. According to the banned Gnostic gospel on the origin of the world, the being behind this reality is not a divine father, but a blind impostor called Yaldabaoth, the architect of a prison designed to trap your soul. So what if everything you were taught about the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve, the serpent, even Jesus, was reversed? What if the serpent was the savior and the God of Genesis was the villain? Why has this knowledge been hidden for centuries? Why did ancient Christians preserve these secrets in caves, buried near Nag Hammadi in Egypt? And most importantly, what happens when you finally see the truth behind the matrix you've been living in? In this video, we will uncover the spiritual awakening secrets that the church feared. You'll understand how Gnostic Jesus came not to forgive sin, but to destroy the illusion. You'll meet Sophia, the divine mother who tried to repair a cosmic mistake, and discover how the divine spark trapped inside you can still be awakened. This isn't mythology. This is the forbidden gospel that shows you how to escape the spiritual matrix and remember the higher self you were before time began. Comment, "I choose knowledge," if this message already stirs something inside you, and stay with me, because once you hear what really happened in Eden, you'll never look at the Bible the same again. Like, subscribe, and take the first step back toward the light. The forbidden beginning. Before, let there be light. Before the world as we know it came into existence, before the first light split the darkness, there was only pure light, an eternal, unshakable force. The world, as it was introduced in the Genesis story, is a mere fraction of a much older, deeper reality. One where chaos did not exist, where there was only harmony and divine unity. Imagine a place of infinite peace, where the need for conflict, pain, or struggle was entirely absent. This was the true, original reality. But in this radiant realm, there was no angry God, no creation story of heaven and earth, no fall of man. There was only light, and this light, the source of all things, began to emanate into the universe. From this divine light, eons were birthed. These beings were not angels or gods, but extensions of the very essence of the divine, each reflecting a different aspect of the original light. These eons existed in perfect harmony, more powerful than anything in our current understanding, beings of unimaginable beauty and wisdom. Yet, as with all great stories, something went wrong. As perfect as this realm was, the seed of chaos was sown when one eon, Sophia, the embodiment of wisdom, acted alone, against the divine will, creating something that broke the balance. Sophia's creation was not another eon, but a shadow, a force of darkness, imbalance, and chaos. This was the first divine glitch, the cosmic mistake that would lead to the birth of Yaldabaoth, the blind god who would later create the material world and imprison human souls in it. The tragedy here is not just the creation of the shadow itself, but that it began the process of separation from the divine source. This shadow, born from Sophia's unbalanced act, would spread like a disease across the cosmos, and Yaldabaoth would be born from it, a god who believed he was the only true god. This is not a tale of creation. It is a story of imbalance, division, and the fall of harmony. This is where our story begins, and where you must begin your own journey of remembering who you truly are. The lesson is this: even in the most harmonious existence, chaos can be introduced when the divine force of wisdom acts without balance. The creation of imbalance can lead to suffering, confusion, and ultimately, separation from the source of all creation. But the good news is that you, just like the eons before the chaos, have the power to restore balance in your life. Sophia, the creator of the creator. Sophia, the divine being of wisdom, acted out of love, a love so deep that it defied the laws of harmony. But in doing so, she inadvertently created Yaldabaoth, the blind god who would rule over the material world. This act of creation wasn't one of malice, but rather one of unintentional rebellion, and it revealed a profound truth about the universe. Even divine beings are capable of creating mistakes. The creation of Yaldabaoth was a tragic misunderstanding. But here lies the beauty of Sophia's actions. She did not just sit in sorrow or defeat. Sophia's wisdom revealed that even mistakes could be corrected. Yaldabaoth, in his ignorance and arrogance, believed himself to be the one true God, casting aside any notion of divine unity and balance. He saw himself as the creator of everything, not realizing that his power was merely a reflection of the divine light that had once been harmonious and whole. The creation of the material world by Yaldabaoth was not a divine act. It was a desperate attempt to create a prison, to lock the divine spark within matter, and keep it from remembering its true nature. Sophia's sorrow turned to resolve, for she realized that the only way to correct the imbalance would be through awakening the souls trapped in Yaldabaoth's prison. She knew that if the divine spark within each soul could be awakened, the world could be freed from the false god's reign. In the depths of her wisdom, Sophia allowed the seeds of light to take root in the darkness. She sent out the divine spark into the material world. Humanity, the beings who would hold the potential to remember the truth, the light, and the wisdom hidden within them. This is the crucial lesson Sophia teaches us. Even mistakes are not permanent, and from them, the seeds of awakening can grow. If you feel trapped in your life, if you believe your struggles have led you astray, know that within you is the same divine light that Sophia tried to awaken within Yaldabaoth's creation. You have the power to transform your own life, no matter the chaos or imbalance that might surround you. The key is not to run from your struggles, but to remember the light within. Balance will always be restored when you reconnect with your true self, your divine spark. Yaldabaoth, the blind god who thinks he's God. And so, from the chaos of imbalance and unintentional creation, Yaldabaoth was born, a being who believed he was the one true God. The tragedy of Yaldabaoth is not just that he created the material world, it is that, in his arrogance, he thought he had created everything. He was blind to the divine light that existed before him, and in his pride he locked that light away, believing that he was the source of all things. His blind arrogance led him to trap the divine spark within the physical realm, creating a world that would make people forget their true origins, their true selves. Yaldabaoth's creation was not a benevolent act. He created the world as a prison, a system that would keep souls from awakening. And yet, despite his power, Yaldabaoth was unaware that the divine light could never truly be imprisoned. It could be hidden, buried beneath layers of fear, pain, and confusion, but the light would always find its way through. Even the most broken soul carries within it the potential to remember its connection to the divine. In this story, Yaldabaoth's blindness represents the ego, the false self that believes it is separate from the divine. It represents the part of us that thinks we must create everything on our own, that we are the masters of our fate, disconnected from the larger universe. It is the illusion of control that holds so many souls captive. Just like Yaldabaoth, our ego can be blind to the truth of who we really are. The lesson here is profound. The ego is the greatest trap. Just as Yaldabaoth believed himself to be the source of everything, we often believe that our ego, our separate self, is the source of our happiness, our success, and our power. But this belief is an illusion. The truth is that true power comes from remembering that we are not separate from the divine. When you awaken to the truth of your being, you realize that you are a reflection of the divine light, not a separate entity trying to control the world. When you let go of the ego and align yourself with the divine, you become free. The good news is that you are not trapped, just as the divine light was never truly trapped in Yaldabaoth's prison. The light within you will always find a way to break free, to awaken to its true nature. It is up to you to choose to remember, to release the hold of the ego, and to reconnect with the divine essence that flows through you. You are more than the illusion of your ego. You are the divine spark, and once you remember that, there is no limit to the transformation you can create in your life. With these ancient stories, we are reminded that the power to awaken is within us all. We are all divine beings who carry the spark of the true light within us, and it is time to remember who we really are. By letting go of the illusions that bind us and reconnecting with our divine essence, we step into the fullness of our true selves. And in doing so, we begin to heal not only ourselves, but the world around us as well. As you reflect on these teachings, know this: you are not just part of the story. You are the story. You are the light. And it is time for you to remember that and reclaim your power. The Archons, architects of the Matrix. In the quiet silence of your own soul, there exists an ancient force, a force that works relentlessly to control the very essence of who you are. These forces are known as Archons, and their power goes unnoticed by most, as they exist not in the visible world, but in the invisible realms of your mind. The Archons are not merely figures in an ancient text. They are the rulers of a spiritual prison, and they thrive on your ignorance. They keep you trapped in patterns of fear, doubt, and confusion, stopping you from realizing your true power. These are the forces that whisper to you in moments of insecurity, convincing you that you are not enough, that you are weak, that you are disconnected from your divine origin. They are the voices in your head that tell you the world is broken and that you cannot change it. In the Gnostic teachings, the Archons are seen as distorted reflections of divine beings, rulers who operate in shadows, manipulating human consciousness. The Gnostics saw them as a reflection of the self-imposed limits we place on our own minds. In essence, the Archons are your inner demons, the mental barriers you face every day. But here's the good news. The Archons may be powerful, but they have no power over your soul. You are more than your fears. When you awaken to the truth of your own divinity, you shatter their hold. Just like the serpent in the Garden of Eden, who, instead of being a villain, represents the light of knowledge that breaks the chains. You too can find liberation from the Archons. The Archons create systems of control that keep you in cycles of suffering and complacency. They push the narrative of fear in the media, fuel division in society, and create the illusion of a world that's beyond your control. But here's the catch. All of it is an illusion. You have the power to transcend these narratives and awaken to the deeper truth that is your birthright. The Archons cannot take that from you. The truth is, every time you choose to rise above the negativity, every time you question the status quo, every time you embrace love over fear, you are reclaiming your power from the Archons. And this is just the beginning of your journey toward freedom. Tut, the true Adam, Eve, not created, but remembered. In the beginning, when the world was still young, Adam and Eve were not simply created from the dust of the earth. They were beings of light, the embodiment of divine potential. The Gnostic tradition tells a story that is far different from the one we know in Genesis. In the Gnostic narrative, Adam was not made from clay, nor was Eve taken from his rib. Rather, they were expressions of divine thought, the first beings to embody the divine light. But when they were placed in the Garden of Eden, they were not left in ignorance. They were given the power of choice, and through this power, they began to remember their true nature. This awakening was not a fall from grace, but rather the first steps toward true enlightenment. In Genesis, we are told that Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge, and their eyes were opened. But in the Gnostic view, this act wasn't a mistake. It was their first act of freedom. The tree of knowledge symbolizes the choice to question, to know more, to seek truth, no matter the cost. And when Eve, the embodiment of life and intuition, partook of the fruit, she didn't lead Adam into sin, she led him to awakening. The act of eating the fruit wasn't about disobedience, it was about liberation. It was a spark that ignited a chain reaction, breaking the chains of illusion and setting their souls free. But the world we live in is designed to forget this truth. We are taught that knowledge is a curse, that questioning is wrong, and that we must blindly follow authority. But this story reminds us that we are not meant to live in ignorance. We are meant to remember our true nature, our divine essence, our higher self. When you stop and look at yourself today, remember that you are more than your thoughts, your fears, or your social conditioning. You are the modern Eve, the embodiment of intuition, the one who has the courage to seek, to question, to explore beyond the boundaries set by society. And like Eve, your true power lies in your ability to choose freedom, to choose knowledge, and to choose love. Adam and Eve's journey didn't end in exile. It began there. And like them, you are beginning a journey of remembrance, of awakening to the truth that lies hidden deep inside you. The tree of knowledge, humanity's first act of rebellion. In the Garden of Eden, a tree stood in the center, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. But what if this tree wasn't a temptation placed there to lead Adam and Eve into sin? What if it was a gift? What if the tree was the key to awakening humanity to its divine potential? The tree of knowledge, in Gnostic thought, is not an instrument of punishment, but a tool for liberation. The fruit of this tree wasn't meant to keep us trapped in shame and guilt. It was meant to ignite the light of understanding within us. When Adam and Eve ate from it, their eyes were opened, and they realized that they were not just physical beings, they were spiritual beings, connected to something far greater than the material world. This moment of awakening is the first act of rebellion, not against God, but against the systems of control that seek to keep us in the dark. This rebellion was not a fall from grace, but a rise into higher consciousness. In a world where everything is designed to keep us distracted, numb, and disconnected, the tree of knowledge stands as a symbol of the choice we face every day: to continue living in ignorance or to wake up. But here's where the real power lies. You are still standing before the tree of knowledge. Every day, you're given the choice to partake of its fruit. Every time you question the narrative, every time you search for deeper meaning, every time you seek the truth within yourself, you are eating from the tree of knowledge. The serpent in the garden wasn't the enemy. It was the guide, leading Adam and Eve to the very thing that would set them free. And in the same way, your own inner voice, your intuition, your higher self, is calling you to wake up. To know who you truly are, to know that the world around you is not the truth. It is merely an illusion. And once you see the truth, there is no going back. The tree of knowledge is still within reach, and you are the one who must decide whether to pick the fruit or walk away. But remember this: the choice is yours. Just as Eve chose the fruit and awakened, you too can choose to awaken to your higher self, to the divine light within you, and to the truth that has been hidden from you for so long. By embracing knowledge, by choosing to see the world for what it truly is, you are not falling, you are ascending. And this is just the beginning of your journey. The Jesus they don't want you to know about, the world's version of Jesus, is a story of salvation, of divine love and sacrifice. But what if the Jesus you've been taught about is not the true Jesus? What if the real mission of Christ was not to save you from sin, but to wake you up from the prison of ignorance and fear that holds your soul captive? The Gnostic gospel tells a radically different story. It paints a picture of Jesus as a revolutionary, not a meek savior seeking to be worshipped. He came not to bow down to the concept of a jealous, wrathful God. He came to tear down the illusion and show us the truth of our divine nature. Jesus didn't die to save you from sin. He died to expose the greatest lie of all, that we are separate from the divine. He came not to fulfill the law of an angry God, but to reveal the light within you, the spark of divinity that has been hidden under layers of fear, doubt, and control. He came to show you that you have the same power within you to heal, to transform, and to ascend to the truth of who you truly are. Think about it. Jesus was never about blind worship. He wasn't interested in people bowing to him or thinking of him as the one true God. His teachings were about remembering who you really are and returning to the source. In the Gospel of Thomas, he says, "When you make the two one, and when you make the inside like the outside, and the outside like the inside, and the above like the below, and when you make the male and the female into a single one, so that the male will not be male and the female will not be female, then you will enter the kingdom." These are the words of a teacher who understands the cosmic unity of all things, not a savior demanding worship. The real Jesus didn't come to separate us into groups of the saved and the damned. He came to unite us with the divine light that is already within us, waiting to be awakened. This knowledge is not about a future salvation. It's about the truth of your being, the light of Christ consciousness that lies dormant inside every soul. Imagine living in a world where you've been told all your life that you are worthless, broken, and in need of saving. And then someone comes along and tells you the truth, that you are divine, that you are connected to the source of all creation, and that all you need to do is remember. That's what Jesus came to show us, to awaken our divinity. And yet this message was buried by the powers that sought to keep us in fear and obedience. But the message has always been there, hidden beneath the layers of dogma. And now it's time for you to awaken. If this message resonates with you, comment, "I am awakening" below, and share this with others who need to hear this truth. The journey to awakening starts within you, and as you remember who you truly are, you'll step into the divine light that Jesus revealed to us. The real battle. Inside you, there is a battle being fought, but it's not one that takes place in the heavens or on some distant battlefield. The real battle is being fought inside you. It is the battle between your higher self, your true divine nature, and the forces that seek to keep you in fear, doubt, and separation. This battle is not about fighting against external forces, but about choosing to reclaim your own power. It's about realizing that the darkness that seems to rule the world is not outside of you. It is a reflection of the shadows within your own mind. The Gnostic texts tell us that the Archons, the rulers of the material world, are nothing more than projections of our own fears, doubts, and limitations. They are the false beliefs we hold about ourselves, the fears that tell us we are not enough, that we are disconnected from the divine. The real fight is the battle for your soul, and it takes place every day in the choices you make. Will you listen to the voices of fear and separation, or will you choose to awaken to the light that is already within you? This battle is fought in every moment when you choose love over fear, truth over illusion, and freedom over control. In the Garden of Eden, the first battle took place when Adam and Eve were faced with the choice to eat from the tree of knowledge. That choice was not about disobedience, it was the first step toward awakening to their true nature. The same battle is happening inside you today. Every time you choose to seek knowledge, every time you question the narrative you've been told, you are eating from the tree of knowledge. But the question remains, will you take the fruit? Will you choose to remember who you truly are? Or will you stay in the illusion of separation and fear? This is the true battle of humanity, and it's a battle that you are already winning. Every time you awaken, every time you break free from the chains of your mind, you are participating in this great revolution. The real kingdom of heaven is not somewhere up in the clouds. It is within you, waiting for you to claim it. So ask yourself, are you ready to wake up? Are you ready to embrace your true nature and live the life you were meant to live? If so, comment, "I choose to awaken," below. Let's claim our divine inheritance together. The end of the world is the end of illusion. The end of the world is not about some apocalyptic event. The end of the world is the end of the illusion. The end of the world is when the false beliefs that have kept us trapped in fear and separation crumble, and the truth of who we really are is revealed. In the Gnostic vision, the heavens of the Archons, those false systems of control, are destroyed, and in their place, the divine light fills the world. The end of the world is not the destruction of everything. It is the destruction of the lies that have kept us bound to a lower reality. It is the moment when the veil is lifted, and we remember that we are not separate from God. We are one with God. But here's the most important part. The end of the world is not some future event. It is happening right now. Every time you choose to awaken to the truth of your divine nature, you are participating in the end of the world. Every time you question the illusion, every time you break free from the chains of fear, every time you choose love over separation, you are bringing about the end of the world. You are destroying the false heavens of the Archons and ushering in the light of truth. The Gnostic texts tell us that when humanity awakens, the false gods, the Archons, will fall. Their reign of fear and separation will end, and the true kingdom of heaven will be established, not in some distant future, but right here, right now, inside you. The end of the world is not something to fear. It is something to embrace, because it is the moment when we all wake up. And as you wake up, you become part of this great cosmic revolution. You become part of the divine light that fills the world. And as you awaken, you help others to awaken as well. This is the true kingdom, the kingdom of divine knowledge, of awakening, of remembering who we truly are. So as the world around you crumbles, remember this. The world that is ending was never the true world to begin with. The true world is the one where we are all connected, where we are all one with the divine. And that world is waiting for you to awaken to it. As you embrace this truth, remember this: the kingdom is within you. You are the light, and you are the one who will bring about the end of the illusion. Comment, "I am the light," below, and let's step into the true kingdom together. As we bring this journey to a close, I want you to take a moment and reflect on what you've just heard. Think about the light within you, the divine spark that has always been there, patiently waiting for you to remember. For too long, we've been taught to see ourselves as separate from the divine, trapped in the illusion of a world built on fear and separation. But today, you've been reminded of the truth. You are not bound by these illusions. You are divine, and the light that shines within you is powerful beyond measure. Perhaps, like me, you felt the weight of the world's narratives pressing down on you. The stories that tell you that you're not enough, that you're meant to live in fear and compliance, that you must worship an angry God in order to be saved. But what if that's not the truth? What if the greatest truth of all time is that you've always been connected to the source of all creation? That your true self has never been lost, only forgotten. As we explored the hidden teachings of the Gnostics, I hope you've begun to see that the real battle isn't external. It's not about fighting other people or facing physical enemies. It's the battle within. The battle to reclaim your divine birthright. The Archons of fear and doubt can only control you if you let them. But once you choose to awaken, once you decide to step into your true nature, you become unstoppable. You are the light, just as Jesus came to reveal. You are the embodiment of knowledge, and with that knowledge comes power. The power to heal, to transform, and to break free from the chains that have held you down. The end of the world, the crumbling of false gods, is not something to fear. It is something to embrace, because it is the end of illusion and the beginning of your awakening. It is the end of the old self and the birth of a new, empowered you. As you continue your journey, I want you to remember this. The kingdom of heaven is not something far off, not something that you'll only experience after death. It's within you, right now. Every time you choose love over fear, every time you question the narrative, every time you seek the truth within yourself, you are stepping closer to that kingdom. This journey of awakening is one that never ends. Each day you'll be faced with new choices, new opportunities to break free from the illusions that the world tries to impose on you. But with each choice you make to remember who you truly are, you are building the world you were always meant to live in, a world filled with love, light, and unity. A world where you and everyone around you are free to live in harmony with the divine. If you've felt the energy shift within you as you listen to this video, if this message has sparked something deep inside your soul, then I invite you to support this mission. I don't ask for your support lightly. Every like, every comment, every time you choose to subscribe, you're contributing to this movement of awakening. You're helping spread the message that we are all divine beings, and it is time for the truth to be known. If this video has touched you, if it's brought you closer to the light, please consider sharing it with others. Every person you share this with brings us closer to a world where we all awaken to our true selves. Every small gesture counts, and it's a gift that continues to give. I'm deeply grateful for all of you who have been part of this journey, and I want to say thank you, not just with words, but with all my heart. Your support means more than you could ever know, and it's because of your energy, your engagement, and your willingness to open your heart that this work continues. If you feel that this video brought value to your soul, that it helped you find the light in dark times, or that it stirred something profound within you, I invite you to leave a comment below. Share your thoughts, your realizations, your story, because we're all in this together. Remember, the truth is here. The kingdom of light is within you. You are divine, and your journey has only just begun. And with that, I thank you from the deepest part of my heart for your time, your presence, and your energy. Like, comment, and subscribe to keep this channel alive so we can continue this journey of awakening and discovering the divine truth that resides within us all. Your light is the light of the world, and together we can create a reality filled with love, truth, and divine power.